Hello, and welcome to Friday Film Review for April 2021. I'm Chris Bell from the Smithtown Library. Whether you miss the weekly movie programs at the Smithtown Library or you just want to watch some good films, join us each month for reviews of recommended movies that you can enjoy at home on Fridays or any day you choose using the library streaming services Hoopla and Kanopy. If you aren't already using Hoopla and Kanopy, I will tell you how to access them from the Smithtown Library homepage at the end of the program. The first movie this month is Leone, which was released in 2010 and was directed by producer and director Hisako Matsui, who made 2 feature films prior to Leone. The film stars Emily Mortimer, who has appeared in many films, including The Party, The Bookshop, and Mary Poppins Returns. Leone is the true and inspiring story of a trailblazing woman who challenged the cultural norms of the day in both the United States and Japan and nurtured a profoundly talented son, the world-renowned artist Isamu Noguchi. An independent young woman in 1901 New York, Leone Gilmore finds work as an editor for the famous Japanese poet Yoni Noguchi. Their relationship grows and becomes romantic, but Noguchi abruptly leaves when he learns that Gilmore is pregnant. Later, following him to Japan, Leone is cast alone to raise their son in a society with few opportunities for women. Leone Gilmore was born in New York in 1873 and gave birth to Isamu in 1904 in Los Angeles, where she was living with her mother after Yoni's departure. They moved to Japan in 1907, but her wish for them all to live as a family was never realized. Leone and Isamu were extremely close, and she envisioned an artist's life for him from an early age, allowing him to design and oversee the building of their home when he was a very young boy. Isamu went on to become one of the 20th century's most important and critically acclaimed sculptors. One of his works, Red Cube, can be seen at 140 Broadway in Manhattan, and the Noguchi Museum is located in Long Island City. But apart from the fame of her husband and her son, Leone was a force in her own right. You can watch Leone on Hoopla or Kanopy. The next movie is Stand By, which was directed by Irish brothers Ronan and Rob Burke. The movie stars Jessica Paré, who has a number of film credits but is best known for her role on Mad Men, and Brian Gleeson, who is an Irish actor with TV and movie credits, including Snow White and the Huntsman and Pinky Blinders. The movie is not rated, but it would get an R rating for language. At the Dublin airport, a woman waiting standby for a flight home to the U.S. runs into an old flame. Alan is down on his luck. Stood up at the altar and recently fired from his banking job, he finds himself working with his mother as a part-time tourist advisor at Dublin Airport. It's there he comes face to face with his first love, Alice, stuck on standby for a flight home to New York. 8 years earlier, their summer romance ended with Alan promising to return to the U.S. one day. He never did, and they haven't spoken since. Seizing his chance, Alan convinces a reluctant Alice to stay one more night in Dublin. Over the course of an unforgettable evening, they come to realize that they are more compatible than ever. But time is running out on this brief encounter, and with an ocean separating their homes, is the second chance really meant to be? Gleeson and Paré have an easy chemistry and share some wild as well as some sweet moments during their reunion. If you're in the mood for a light romantic comedy, try watching Stand By on Kanopy. Muscle Shoals is a documentary film that was released in 2013 and was directed by first-time director Greg Freddie Camalier and was the winner of the grand prize at the Boulder International Film Festival. The movie features interviews and hit songs from an all-star lineup of musicians. Muscle Shoals, Alabama has helped create some of the most important and resonant songs of all time. Aretha Franklin, Alicia Keys, Bono, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Etta James, Greg Allman, Wilson Pickett, and many others bear witness to Muscle Shoals' magnetism, mystery, and why it remains influential today. Located alongside the Tennessee River, Muscle Shoals is the unlikely breeding ground for some of America's most creative and defiant music. Under the spiritual influence of the river that sings, as Native Americans called it, the music of Muscle Shoals changed the world and sold millions of records. At its heart is Rick Hall, who founded Fame Studios. Overcoming crushing poverty and staggering tragedies, he brought black and white together in Alabama's cauldron of racial hostility to create music for the generations while giving birth to the Muscle Shoals sound and the Swampers. Founder Rick Hall was Fame's engineer, and his former bandmates, recruited to be the rhythm section for the studio, became the legendary Swampers and appeared on countless hits with Percy Sledge, Wilson Pickett, Aretha Franklin, and many others. Unlike other studios that used written arrangements and charts, music at Muscle Shoals seemed to come together organically and magically. Talking about the mysticism of the river, Bono says, quote, "It's like the songs come out of the mud," unquote. The history of the studio is fascinating as well as entertaining. You can watch Muscle Shoals on Hoopla or Canopy and listen to the soundtrack on Hoopla. Zoo was the second feature film directed by Colin McIver. It was released in the U.S. and the U.K. in 2018 and won awards at several festivals, including the Seattle International Film Festival. The movie stars Art Parkinson, who is best known for Game of Thrones, in the role of Tom, and Downton Abbey's Penelope Wilton plays his accomplice, Mrs. Austen. The zoo scenes for the movie were filmed at the actual Belfast Zoo. Inspired by a true story, 12-year-old Tom and his misfit friends enlist an older woman in their fight to save Buster the baby elephant during the air raids on Belfast, Northern Ireland in 1941. Tom's father works at the zoo caring for the animals, and Tom helps out there often. When a new baby elephant arrives, Tom is among the first to meet him, and the two form a special bond. When Tom's father is called to serve in the war, Tom promises to look after the elephant he has named Buster. But when the authorities direct the zoo to destroy any potentially dangerous animals that might be set loose during the air raids, Tom knows he must take action to save Buster. In the movie, each character is dealing with a hardship. Especially touching is the relationship that forms between Mrs. Austen and Jane, who lives with her alcoholic father. And while the story focuses on the elephant, there are many other beautiful animals in the film. The Belfast Blitz consisted of 4 German air raids on strategic targets in the city of Belfast in Northern Ireland in April and May of 1941. It had been believed that the Luftwaffe could not travel as far as Belfast, and as a result the city lay unprepared and undefended, which caused high casualties and left 100,000 people homeless. In the actual story, the elephant was named Sheila, and it was Mrs. Austen, her keeper at the zoo, who brought the endangered animal to her home. Sheila lived until 1966, and Denise Austen, who was not as old in real life as in the film, died in 1997. You can watch Zoo on Hoopla or Canopy. Finally this month, a movie that is definitely not based on a true story, 1999's Galaxy Quest, which was directed by Dean Parisot, who had previously worked mostly in television. The movie's 3 main stars are Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and Alan Rickman, but the co-stars include Tony Shalhoub, Sam Rockwell, Enrico Colantoni, Missy Pyle, Daryl Mitchell, and in their film debuts, Justin Long and Rainn Wilson. In Galaxy Quest, the alumni cast of a 1970s sci-fi television series have to play their roles for real when an alien race needs their help. For 4 years, the courageous crew of the NSEA Protector set off on thrilling and often dangerous missions in space, and then their series was canceled. Now, 20 years later, Aliens Under Attack have mistaken the Galaxy Quest television transmissions for historical documents and beamed up the crew of has-been actors to save the universe. With no script, no director, and no clue, the actors must turn in the performances of their lives. According to trivia posts to the IMDb Galaxy Quest page, this funny and warm-hearted spoof of Star Trek is full of direct references to Star Trek episodes as well as movies. One of the most endearing characters is the Thermian commander Mathazar, who is played by Enrico Colantoni. According to writer David Howard, the melodic yet monotone voice of the alien commander was an original idea that Colantoni brought to the character. Also, the casting director loved Colantoni's audition so much, she showed it to the other actors to demonstrate how the Thermians should behave. If you've never seen Galaxy Quest, or you haven't seen it in a long time, you can watch it on Kanopy. If you need to download Hoopla and Kanopy, go to the library's website at www.smithlib.org, click on Digital Library, and then select Movies and TV. There are links for the Hoopla and Kanopy apps, as well as printable instructions and video tutorials. And of course, if you need further assistance, please call us at 631-360-2480, and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you for joining me today. May's Friday Film Review will be available starting on May 7th. Please continue to visit the library's website at www.smithlib.org for more programs and resources.